Now let's get the pathetic shilling out of the way fast. If I get 50 subscribers and 100 likes on this video, I will stream the entirety of Revengeance. Thank you. Now enjoy the video. If you've ever liked sci-fi action films, like Starship Troopers, or any Arnold Schwarzenegger film, let's mix that with a fast-paced, platinum video game. The SC-01 Providence, a space station able to harness energy from the sun. The Russian Star captures Providence and uses it to microwave San Francisco. Aiming to force the US into a total and unconditional surrender, the Russian Star's next target is New York. Sam Gideon, using the augmented reaction suit, alongside our living machine gun of death, Richard Burns, the leader of the army unit you're following. Burns being the embodiment of the phrase, "The ends come before the means." Elena Ivanova acts as radio support and is pivotal in our success, providing him with information regarding his surroundings and enemies, while trying to save Professor Francis Candid, chief researcher of DARPA, helping create the space colony. The augmented reaction suit and the energy both use was captured by Viktor Zetsev, principal of the Order of the Russian Star, our virtual Vanquish, even having his own suit comparable if not better than the augmented reaction suit. Now, let's be real, that's all there is to this story now. It's as deep as a porno in the 70s. The Russians are the girl, and Sam is the plumber, and he's got a dirty job to get done. All that really matters now is it's time to go and finish this fucking war with space Russians. But when you get men like Shinji Mikami, the director of such legendary titles like Resident Evil 1 and its remake, Dino Crisis 1, Resident Evil 4, as well as the game I've been streaming, God Hand. Shinji Mikami stated that Vanquish's graphics were partially inspired by Cashern, and he wanted a third-person shooter that felt like a bullet hell, which was clearly the priority over anything else. Vanquish is a third-person cover-based shooter, made to feel like a Metal Gear Revengeance style shooter. This being the only cover-based shooter that I would call fast-paced. You can play this like a cover-based shooter, if you really want to, but the real game mechanics are, well, we'll have to start off by talking about the boosters and your AR systems. Like in early Dark Souls, you only have 4-way rolling, not 8 ways, but the dodge is not very useful for actually dodging, even though you do get some iframes. As stupid as it sounds, it's better used in combination with your aiming to activate your AR, slowing down time to make precision shots. Even used during boosts, and when you take too much damage as a last-ditch effort to survive overheating your AR and boost systems, but because of that, it gives you a second chance. Using it effectively allows you to be aggressive as shit. Melee attacks cause overheating too, but your attacks change depending on your currently equipped weapon. The disc launcher being my personal favorite, stun locking some large enemies, sometimes, and doesn't use your AR, but your ammo instead. And I use this almost exclusively for melee combat, doing increased damage when chopping off limbs. Its projectiles have homing capabilities. Upgrading it increases its maximum capacity and maximum damage. Dangerous but satisfying to use. Now let's talk about the weaponry. Guns. And there's a lot of upgradable guns in Vanquish. from your standard issue assault rifle to homing laser crossbows. The assault rifle can be your workhorse for the entire game. You'll find lots of it, and it has loads of ammo, and you'll be able to upgrade it quite frequently because of this. Before Act 2, I already had it fully upgraded, meaning I got a 50% damage bonus. Your heavy machine gun, hitting hard but inaccurate until you upgrade it. Killing most low-level robots with a single headshot, doing massive damage against weak points. Use it when you don't want to use the assault rifle. It does have a lower ammo count though. The mainstay of any FPS, a good old-fashioned sniper rifle. Taking enemies out from long range. Most low-level enemies not even needing a headshot to kill. Upgrades increasing your accuracy and fire rates. And then the rocket launcher. It's not as useful early, surprisingly, but after maxing it out at 5, devastating, destroying the heavies of Vanquish, destroying bosses, having a lock-on mechanic that at max level is instantaneous, massive explosion radius, and increased damage. LFE being a giant orb that you fire, passing through and pushing away enemies, creating an explosion before it expires. At max rank, going even further, causing more havoc. And then your shotgun. You know you have a good shooter, usually judging by how good your shotgun is. Well, this one's fucking destructive. At max range, it's shooting as fast as an assault rifle, destroying Russian robots like nothing, and destroying bosses like everything else. Lock-on laser is a crossbow, firing multiple lasers into the air that rain down on the enemies. The downside being that when fighting in a tunnel or in areas with a low roof, the lasers hit the roof. Upgrading increases the number of selectable targets. Then we got our DLC guns. Boost machine gun, just a better heavy machine gun all around. Just harder to find, so less upgrade opportunities. Laser cannon, it draws its power from the ARS. Upgrade levels having only 3, but being the lowest of all the weapons in the game, but doing massive amounts of damage, and not needing ammo. Anti-armor pistol, a single-handed sniper rifle style hand cannon. Upgrading with a sniper scope and the same properties of the sniper rifle, but at a medium range. One of the biggest things you can have in a character action game, literally at times, is the enemies, and boy does it have some. From standard robot soldiers carrying assault rifles, some with sniper rifles, the crazy fast ass robots with shotguns. Then we start progressing to the real crazy shit. Giants wielding miniguns and rocket launchers, some with flamethrowers. For close range fighting, we got robots with drill hands, we got giant scorpion mechs, all of them being massive targets on the battlefield, being your primary targets, taking loads of damage and dealing lots of it at themselves. We even have giant drill dozers covered in miniguns, even a robot blob pulling parts off of the destroyed to protect itself, having the ability to insta-kill you, but it's heavily susceptible to explosions. Now with all these weapons, insane enemies, and fun tools to use, how do we exploit them? Well, let's start with the upgrade system. One of the most important things you should know is that the upgrade system, when picking up a new gun, you'll start out at level 0. When its ammo is maxed out, you can pick up another one and it'll get a partial level up, leveling up after 3, and getting a full level when you pick up an upgrade. But when you die, it'll go down a partial level. Now this is very important. Like old school arcade shoot 'em ups, it's very important not to lose these, since it's kinda bad to lose a 50% damage increase. So the better you do, the easier Vanquish becomes. But let's say I can stop the game from registering your deaths. Well, if you hit a checkpoint, you can do whatever you want. Dying or picking restart will start you from that checkpoint anyways. It still counts as a death then, but if you return to the title screen, you return to the same checkpoints, but you never died. That means you don't lose your levels and are resetting all the chests with new weapons, sometimes being a net positive or a net loss depending on what you got. If you're doing this throughout the game effectively, you'll probably max level with your 3 main guns before Act 2. So I recommend having a workhorse gun like an AR or a heavy machine gun. Then something to deal with bigger enemies like the rocket launcher or disc launcher. Then something situational like your sniper rifle. Another abusable trick to level up your weapons is, well, since picking up a new gun means it'll be fully loaded, correct? You can go pick up another gun, dropping that gun, and picking up a new one. Then it'll be fully loaded. Then you go pick up your old one for the partial upgrade. And since after every battle you usually have time to kill, then let's not forget about the tech, including shooting grenades, which causes bigger explosions, some melee attacks even being able to slow down time, like off of a heavy machine gun kick. A video in the description will have even more tech you can use. Vanquish can be very tough or kind of easy depending on how you're abusing these tactics. Now onto the level design of Vanquish. I would describe it as a game of fucking set pieces in the best way possible, constantly running into giant arenas of Russian robots. First act, a Normandy-style beach invasion into a colony in space, saving POWs in the middle of a fight, defending a gate while getting as many through as possible and saving that straggler that just got sniped Gears of War Carmine style, fighting giant chainsaw robots and bipedal missile launchers with walking forms. Even a tunnel section fighting giant self-destructive robots trying to stop your tank from getting through. Then starting Act 2, you're on a train fighting against airships that are flying in, dropping troops off straight out of Shadows of the Empire, except even cooler with transport trains flipping around you, going completely upside down, even fighting toe-to-toe with another train, then stealing a smaller one mid-fight. Fighting up a massive hill while being fired down upon by giant machines, all to stop an artillery weapon. Destroyed buildings crumbling and falling towards you. It's absolute chaos. But the third act, you're even fighting a steroided up version of the Scare from Halo 2. With multiple missions involving going to, getting through, and finally getting to the top, ripping out the generator. The epitome of badass action shit. And before that, having sniper stealth missions because it never stops changing its formula. Vanquish succeeds where most shooters can't, the level design. The insane shit that's always running at you, making so many memorable combat scenarios that I remembered years later. Then you add the multiple difficulties like the God mode, taking away the upgrade mechanics and reducing your slowdown time. The only problem I have with this game is I beat it in 6 hours, but god was it fun. Vanquish is an absolute adrenaline rush, that by the time you're done playing it, all you think about is when you get to start your next game.